DOST Pag-asa issued last December 6, 2023, El Niño Advisory Number 6, which states that a strong El Niño is present in the tropical Pacific, and this has further intensified, nearing its peak in the coming months, as the sea surface temperature anomalies have reached more than 1.5 degrees centigrade. That El Niño will likely persist until the second quarter of 2024. Experience in some areas in the country, and this is characterized by the reduction of rainfall up to 80%, which led to dry conditions or dry spells. Now, based on recent conditions, moderate to severe drought conditions are likely from February to May 2024.
Alam po namin sana kung ano po yung laman ng National Action Plan. Tsaka kung ano po yung mga possible intervention na nire-recommend ng DOST to address yung possible drought at tsaka impact po ng El Niño sa power po.
Comparing this year's El Niño to the previous ones that we've experienced, Secretary, gaano po ka-severe ito or is it less severe than the ones we've experienced?
Strong ang indication ng El Niño, so we have to prepare.
Extreme temperatures, especially for during the summer. Are we in for the hottest summer?
We know what provinces will be heavily hit by El Niño.
Sir, we have to prepare fast. How will we do that, sir? At ano yung pinakamabilis na paraan na gagawin natin?
Doon naman po sa Lindol, Sec, tanong ko lang po kung sa taong ito ba ay nag-exceed tayo doon sa dami ng mga naranasang lindol ng bansa at mostly bakit po sa Mindanao ang tama po ng mga lindol? Big one po dito sa Metro Manila kasi yung 7.4 sa ibang lugar malakas na po yun. Sa Metro Manila yung in-expect po nating lakas ay 7.2, tama po ba yun?
Back doon sa El Niño, ano bang worst case scenario noong 1997 El Niño na sinisikap nating maiwasan ngayong paparating na El Niño sa 2024? Of budget, magkano ba yung budget allocation natin para dito sa El Niño?
Ayun po guys, at natunghayan nyo na po ang aking introduction. So magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Ito pong muli ang inyong lingkod, si DIY KKB Informative. At nagpapasalamat sa aking mga viewers at ang aking mga subscribers na patuloy na sumusuporta sa ating YouTube channel, DIY KKB Informative. So ito pong matutunghayan nyo ay patungkol sa El Niñong darating sa 2024. So magsisimula po ito early as 2024, yung ating tagtuyot, yung ating pinakamataas na heat index dito sa Pilipinas. So ito po ay information campaign galing sa Malacanang ng DOST, ng Secretary ng DOST. So yun po, at iniimpormahan po tayo or nananawagan sila na maghanda tayo sa panahon na yon. At meron po rin sila sinasabi dito ang patungkol sa lindol na mangyayari dito sa Pilipinas, sa iba't ibang dako ng Pilipinas. So medyo nakakagambala po ito. Ang gobyerno ay nagpapaalala patungkol dito sa mangyayari ng ating hinaharap sa 2024. So tunghayan na po natin guys ang kanilang mga tanong ng mga Malacanang press corps ukol dito. So eto na po at simulan na po natin. Information campaign po ito at sila ay nagpapaalala at tayo naman po ang siyang po pwedeng makasolusyon dito sa mga kaganapang mangyayari sa 2024 sa El Niño na magaganap. So ito na po guys.
Magandang umaga, Malacanang Press Corps at welcome sa ating press briefing ngayong araw, December 12. During the sectoral meeting led by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. this morning, DOST Pag-asa and the Office of Civil Defense gave updates on the impacts of El Niño, which are felt now and is expected to extend to the second quarter of 2024. The President ordered the coordination of all the plans to mitigate the effects of El Niño on water, agriculture, energy, health, security, education, and other effects into an updated national action plan on El Niño. Joining us now is Science and Technology Secretary Renato Solidum Jr. Good morning, Secretary.
Good morning.
Go ahead with our briefing. Thank you.
Thank you. DOST Pag-asa issued last December 6, 2023, El Niño Advisory Number 6, which states that a strong El Niño is present in the tropical Pacific, and this has further intensified, nearing its peak in the coming months, as the sea surface temperature anomalies have reached more than 1.5 degrees centigrade. Aside from that, majority of global climate models suggest that El Niño will likely persist until the second quarter of 2024. Next, please. Now, the effects of El Niño are currently felt, and they have been experienced in some areas in the country, and this is characterized by the reduction of rainfall up to 80%, which led to dry conditions or dry spells. Dry spells are episodes where there is 21 to 80% reduction of rainfall compared to the average normal months data. Below normal also would be the number of tropical cyclones in the previous months, and this has contributed to the persistence of dry conditions in some areas. Next slide, please. Now, based on recent conditions, moderate to severe drought conditions are likely from February to May 2024. And by end of May, there would be 77% of the provinces of the country will have potential for drought. That would be around 65 provinces, and 7% potential for dry spell, or around 6 provinces. And because of this, we need to further intensify our efforts to make sure that we are ready for this, especially on the various fields that were already mentioned, like health, water, agriculture, sanitation, and of course, peace and order. And we also need to involve everyone in this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Solidum. Any questions so far? Sam Medanilla, Business Mirror.
For Sir Solidum, tatanong lang po namin sana kung ano po yung laman ng National Action Plan. Tsaka kung ano po yung mga possible intervention na nire-recommend ng DOST to address yung possible drought at tsaka impact po ng El Niño sa power po. Okay, thank you.
Okay, ang National Action Plan, maraming laman yan, and this is actually being prepared early on when Pag-asa mentioned the possibility of El Niño. And these, the sectors that the plans are subdivided into 5 sectors: water security to ensure sufficient water supply, food security to make sure that there is stable supply of key food commodities, income losses are minimized, and access to affordable food would be expanded. On the energy security, power interruptions should be minimized. For health, outbreak of diseases and other illnesses would be managed and minimized. And for public safety, fire incidents due to El Niño, especially for the dry, grassy or forested areas, would be reduced. And there will be safe, peaceful, and orderly communities that would be maintained all over the country. So those are the 5 major plans, and the details would be done by the different concerned departments.
Ivan Myrina, GMA 7. Microphone, please.
Comparing this year's El Nino to the previous ones that we've experienced, Secretary, gaano ho ka severe ito or is it less severe than the ones we've experienced?
Strong ang indication ng El Nino, so we have to prepare. And if I recall, may I ask is it similar to the 97-98 episode? Comparable to 97-98?
And that was the worst we have ever experienced.
Yes. So we need to plan ahead, and we should make it fast. As the evaluation changed from the previous one to a strong El Nino.
Are we looking at extreme temperatures, especially for during the summer? Are we in for the hottest summer in recent memory?
Yeah, the temperature that is forecast during Amihan times, will be from 9.4 degrees to 14.8, and the maximum temperature in northern Luzon around April or May can be up to 41 degrees centigrade, and that would be the actual temperature. But if you add on the heat index, usually plus 5 to 15 degrees. Now, magkaiba kasi yung heat index, importante yun sa katawan ng tao. In Metro Manila, maybe around 38.3, and in lowland Luzon up to 39.9, sorry, and Mindanao by April around 39.5. I think it's comparable, right? It's not, Annalisa, is that the maximum? Hindi naman, di ba? Comparable lang.
Bro, tanong pa. Parang walang magtanong ah. Gusto niya ako magtatanong.
Any other questions? Nestor Corrales.
Sir, you earlier mentioned that 77% of the country is predicted to experience a dry spell.
Drought.
May we know what provinces will be heavily hit by El Nino?
We'll provide you with a list.
Maybe we can show the map again.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah, you can just show
pretty
the
much
map.
Luzon,
Yeah.
Visayas, and Mindanao.
Yeah.
It's in the map.
Pakita nga uli ng
Can you flash the
flashlight.
map again, the last slide, with the red?
Now, on the right side would be the May. So, ang tingnan nyo dyan, yung drought would be red. So, North Luzon
Ako,
is dry spell.
teka.
Northern extreme Luzon.
Komento
then
lang
some
po tayo
parts
ng
of-
konti. So, nagtatanong nga sila kung ano yung maapektuhan ng lubos ng ating El Nino tinatawag next year sa 2024. So, ako po, ang komento ko dyan is malinaw na malinaw. Kung ano po yung lugar na hindi mapuno, yun ang pinakamainit. Bibigyan ko kayo ng halimbawa. Itong napuntahan ko sa Tanay, Rizal, mapuno po dyan. Kaya napakalamig po ng lugar na yan. Dahil napakapuno po dyan sa Tanay, Rizal. So, meaning to say, hindi maapektuhan gaano yan ng yung init na tinatawag, yung heat index. Although, kasama rin sila sa drought. Lahat tayo dito sa buong Pilipinas. At ang sumunod dyan, dito sa may Quezon Circle. Kung napunta kayo sa Quezon Circle, ang puno nun. Yung palibot na mapuno. Pumunta kayo sa gitna nun, kahit katanghali ang tapat, ang lamig po dun sa lugar na yun. Kaya napaka-importante po ng puno sa ating bansa. Hindi kagaya nung araw, talagang kami po, maraming puno dito sa Pilipinas. Pero ngayon, pinagpuputol na dahil nag-construct na ng iba't ibang building dito sa Pilipinas. Pero sa probinsya, malamang marami pa rin puno. So ituloy po natin, nakomentohan ko lang po yon.
Mindanao will be yellow or dry condition.
Tuloy natin.
So, essentially all the rest of the country would be from dry condition to drought. So mostly drought.
Tuesday New. Easy.
Good morning, Secretary. Sabi niyo, sir, we have to prepare fast. How will we do that, sir? At ano yung pinakamabilis na paraan na gagawin natin?
Ang utos ni President would be to categorize actions into short and medium. Yung short kaagad-agad. Yung madali, we have to be realistic. So marami namang talagang nakaplano at ginagawa na. We just have to make sure that the coverage would also expand according to the forecast. And of course, that would the one important thing is to enhance the communication effort, and this will be handled by the Office of the President, so that we can have a massive information campaign on what we need to do, what the government is doing, and what our kababayan should also be doing for their counterpart.
Parang wala ako
Eden
naintindihan doon.
Santos.
Wala ako naintindihan.
Secretary, good morning po. Doon naman po sa Lindol, Sec, tanong ko lang po kung sa taong ito ba ay nag-exit tayo doon sa dami ng mga naranasang lindol ng bansa, at mostly bakit po sa Mindanao ang tama po ng mga lindol?
Okay. If you count the aftershocks, yes. Pero there are sometimes years where we have major earthquake events. And major earthquake events would trigger a lot of aftershocks. So by counting, talagang sosobra yan. Kasi for example, sa magnitude 7.4 earthquake event, mahigit 3,000 na yon. Baka umabot pa yan sa 4,000. But the important thing though is the consequence of the events. And if you look at past events, no, these events in Mindanao have not really caused significant casualty. Important thing though is we need to make sure that people understand that all the rest of the country except Palawan Island is transected by active faults and also bordered by what we call trenches. And the reason why we have several in Mindanao is because in Mindanao we have at least 3 to 4 trenches compared to Visayas and Luzon, no? And some of these trends, like the Philippine trends between Samar Island and Surigao provinces, have not really moved for a long time. So, kaya nandun yung mga gaps na may mga earthquake na nangyayari. Now, on the Sarangani event noong November 17, part ito ng Cotabato Trench, which is also very active in generating major earthquake events. So, kaya nagkakataon na yung ibang lugar would have stored so much energy that need to be released. Kaya minsan may mga major earthquakes tayo.
Follow-up lang po, yung sa the big one po dito sa Metro Manila, kasi yung 7.4 sa ibang lugar, malakas na po yun. Sa Metro Manila, yung in-expect po nating lakas ay 7.2, tama po ba yon?
If the scenario that we look at is the West Valley Fault. So based on the length of the fault, we can expect that it can generate a magnitude 7.2, and since it is already on land and we are staying on land, the intensity of shaking that we will feel will be much stronger, intensity 8. Compared to the 7.4 magnitude in Surigao, energy-wise much stronger, but since the epicenter was offshore, what was felt inland was not that strong, intensity 7 lang. And there's a big difference between intensity 8 and 7. Intensity 8 is when you cannot stand, and shaking will be kind of long, close to 1 minute, depending on the foundation. Itong 7, mga ano lang yan, mas you can stand, but less damage.
Can we safely say po, Secretary, na at this point in time ay mas handa na po tayo doon sa the big one compared from 10 years before?
Definitely, when you were still covering me, we were both, sorry. And definitely, yes, I agree with you. Yung katabi mo, kasama rin yan. And essentially, yes, definitely. But we need to make sure that the information campaign is continued, as younger, we have more youth now than before, and that they also need to know. What is important though is we need to continue strengthening the houses that we have constructed years before. Yung mga bago conforms to the building code, but we need to strengthen our building preparedness, and that is where the solution would lie on the potential number of casualty. Kailangan patibayan para kumonti pa ang maapektuhan.
Okay, thank you. Alvin Baltasar.
Secretary, good morning po. Secretary, going back doon sa El Nino, ano bang worst case scenario noong 1997 El Nino na sinisikap nating maiwasan ngayong paparating na El Nino sa 2024?
May effect sa agriculture yun eh. Kaya we need to make sure that water and the energy and agriculture are not that affected. Because that was really an issue that was very instrumental in making sure that we really need to prepare for this kind of event. And as you know, pagdating sa mga ganyan, we have to make sure na pag food ang maapektuhan, dapat ample ang supply kasi baka maka-apekto din sa mga pricing, di ba? So that is the critical thing. We need to have food stocks and making sure that enough water and energy are available. So distribution is also a very crucial thing.
Secretary, follow-up lang po. In terms of budget, magkano ba yung budget allocation natin para dito sa El Nino?
I don't have the number, but there were proposals for increased budget as requested by different agencies. Agencies have their own fund, no? You can fund many of the activities based on the regular fund. When the effect happens and more assistance needed to be provided, then yung quick response or other additional fund needs to be provided. Yung mga infrastructure, like sa irrigation, sa mga dams, improvement of water facilities also need to be looked into.
Just to reiterate what the Secretary said, in the meeting today, the various agencies' secretaries were all present with the President. Let me just read who was there. DND Secretary, DA, DOH, DTI, DSWD, DENR, DILG, DOST, DBM, DOE, DICT, NEDA, OCD, MWSS, NIA, National Irrigation, and NWRB. So it is a whole of government, and we need the whole of society to also be aware and to prepare for this.
Question pa, guys.
Any more? No more
Ako may
questions?
question ako mamaya.
We need your help here
Yes.
in informing our kababayans and also educating them on what needs to be done.
In fact, the President had also mentioned, this is not the first time he mentioned it. Earlier, I think Q2, he already said, we should have a conservation mentality. Huwag mag-aksaya.
Yan.
As early as now. Huwag tayo mag-aksaya ng tubig, ng ilaw.
Okay.
Anyway, mahal, di ba?
Yes.
So let's all do our part in conserving energy and
Tama,
water.
tama.
Yeah, definitely. That's very correct.
Okay. Are we done? Anything else, Secretary?
Well, maraming salamat sa inyo. And this kind of preparation has been done before. We need more concerted effort though with the strong El Nino forecast.
Thank you. On that note, this concludes our press briefing this morning.
Okay.
Maraming salamat Malacanang Press Corps and maraming salamat
Ako may
Secretary.
tanong ako.
Thank
Sandali
you.
ha. Ito, may tanong po ako. Ayun guys, natunghayan nyo na. Ako po may tanong din. So, ang tanong ko po ay ganito. Kaming mga maliliit na mamamayang Pilipino at yung iba pa, nagtitipid. Gaya nga ng panawagan nyo. Magtipid tayo sa tubig, sa kuryente, dahil mahal nga ang kuryente. So, po pwede po ba akong manawagan o magtanong kung sasabihin nyo rin sa ating mga kawani ng gobyerno na magtipid din sila? Kasi ako napupunta ako sa mga government, yung mga sa building ng mga government na sobrang lamig. So baka naman po pwedeng mag-conserve din ang ating kawani ng gobyerno sa kanilang mga buildings, sa kanilang mga opisina. Kasi siyempre, nagtitipid tayo, nananawagan kayo. Pero ang hindi ko po narinig, ang pagtitipid po sa loob ng mga opisyalis ng gobyerno. Yun lang po. Sana po matulungan nyo kaming maliliit na mamamayang Pilipino na nagtitipid na magtipid din ng ating mga kawani ng gobyerno. Hindi na po tayo magbabanggit kasi pangkaraniwan naman po sa ating mga opisina ng gobyerno, super lamig. At isa pa, super dami ng ilaw. Super dami ng ilaw po. Sa totoo lang po. At bibigyan ko kayo ng halimbawa. Dito sa ating Congress, di ba? Napakaraming ilaw niyan. Baka pa pwede naman tayo magtipid. Tapos, hindi pa ako napapasok dyan eh. Pero nakikita ko sa mga videos na super dami po ng mga ilaw. At natural, sigurado ako, super lamig din dyan. Malamang. So, yun po, ako po ay nananawagan na magtipid din po ang ating mga opisyal ng gobyerno dito sa Pilipinas para pare-parehas tayong makinabang at makatipid dito sa ating bansang Pilipinas. So, energy savings eh. Kasi siyempre, nagtitipid tayo, kailangan magtipid din ng ating mga kawani ng gobyerno. So, alam ko naman siguro, sinasabi nyo rin yun na magtipid tayo, pero who knows po, hindi po natin alam kasi napupunta ako sa mga building o mga opisina ng mga gobyerno dito sa opisina ng gobyerno dito sa Pilipinas. So, sana tipid-tipid din po kayo. So, maraming salamat po sa inyong pagtunghay sa aking mumunting YouTube channel, DIY KKB Informative. At sinasabi ni DIY KKB Informative, keep safe, God bless, and you have a great day. See you on my next vlog, guys. Maraming salamat po. Information campaign lang po itong ating ipinatunghay. Salamat!